Right, so it's been 2 weeks since I live streamed to release Fade, my new song. Thank you everyone who has listened to it, bought it, supported me, however. Um, yeah, been 2 weeks. I didn't mean to take such a long break off YouTubing, and now I feel kind of awkward trying to get back into it, but let's make a good go of it. Probably gonna give this like a silly title, like the not posting situation is crazy or something like that. There's too many of those titles on YouTube, and it just makes me think, oh my god, just say what the thing is instead of bullshitting us. But hey, my channel's all about messing with you guys, so I might as well take some inspiration from the bullshit of YouTube. Anyway, yeah, no, what happened? I just gotta check this is actually recording. Good, it is. No, I just okay, so that was exhausting. That was on the 23rd. That was the anniversary of Hope passing away. So there was a bit of grief. And then the very next day, Triton had his adolescent class. I had to look at my calendar to try and remember what even happened, although not everything is written there. Because, sometimes things are not planned. And I would have to go through my psychology diary to figure out what I actually did, because I can never remember. But that's too hard to look at. Anyway, the next day, Triton's class. And then I can't remember what happened on Monday. Yeah, Tuesday, doing some music stuff. Wednesday, can't remember again. Thursday, I had a skin check because I saw this really vague thing on my cheek and just thought that didn't look right. So booked in for a skin check and it's fine. But I haven't had a proper skin check ever, so I guess I should have done it eventually, considering I got badly sunburned as a kid, and that's probably why I don't go out in the sun much, although there's also the depression and just being a vampire. Yeah, anyway, no, there's nothing wrong with my skin. Yay! And I can't remember how often I'm meant to do that check. And then that night, the art gallery had their members dinner, and I was easily the youngest person there, despite not actually being that young. But hey, it's free food. Although I did end up at the table of some interesting people and got to listen to some conspiracy theories that I've never heard before. Yeah, I have been adopted by the interesting characters of a local area, which seems appropriate, but also anyway, no, all the eccentric people in my suburb, the well-known ones, they're all getting kind of old and they're not going to be around much longer, so I might as well fill that gap, right? And they've already spotted me. Anyway, yeah, so that went, anytime I go to one of those events, it takes me quite a while to wind down and decompress from it, and I think I just did too much socializing. So I was probably basically dead the next day. Yeah, the only notes that I have are about making sure my Nasonex isn't running out, and then notes on what things Triton needs. Anyway, I don't remember what happened on the Friday and Saturday, but on the Sunday, Triton graduated his adolescent class. If you follow me on Instagram, you would see some of this stuff, because apparently that's where I post quick things now, when I can't be bothered to upload things to YouTube, because posting on Instagram stories is faster than posting shorts, although some of those stories I will post as shorts at some point. But yeah, no, his last class was the storm came through, and we didn't have to stop when the thunder was in the distance, because none of the pups were scared, which was good. But then we had one last task, and then it started to pour with rain, and it was just revision anyway. But actually I can't even remember what I'm supposed to, life admin is getting out of hand, because I can't remember what even is on my to-do list, and I have written a to-do list, but I guess I just don't look at it. I only just remembered that I have a to-do list. Anyway, and there's one thing I did do. I posted that thing on Patreon. Where is my pen? Not that pen, the other pen. In the live stream for Fade, I know I'm starting to look a bit unhinged. And this video is just me rambling about stuff, I guess, but maybe I'll get to some good stuff if you stick around. Anyway, no, I did post that, during that live stream for Fade, I did say that I was going to try and do a live performance of Fade, but then forgot about it, and then said I was going to post my testing videos to Patreon, and it only took like 13 days, but I did it. And now I can cross that out. And I still haven't got petrol for the car, but that's okay. There's still 2 bars. It'll be fine. Anyway, yeah, no, I meant to. I was gonna talk to the trainer about, what do I do next with Triton, but didn't get a chance because of the storm. Still haven't emailed her. Anyway, and then what happened on Monday this week? I don't remember, but no. And also last week. Okay, what happened on Friday? Not yesterday Friday, but the Friday before. That would have been Black Friday. And so I did go out and spend money. And also in some of the days around Black Friday, I spent money online as well. And it's kind of scary looking through my bank account and going, that's a lot of stuff I spent. But no, okay, so now I remember what I was going to talk about. 6 minutes into the video, I finally remember the thought that I had, like, when I finally get back to YouTube, this is what I should talk about. No, so one of the things I didn't factor in, apart from other stuff in my calendar going nuts, is, I think I actually need, like, 2 weeks to grieve Hope, at least this year, and I think, I'm doing okay now. I still occasionally think about him and get sad. But, like, in terms of remembering him and then recovering from remembering him, I think I need, like, that whole process takes 2 weeks. Because it actually starts on the 19th, which is when he had his first seizure. Yep. And then there's that period of time where I was just spending all my time with... Well, no, there was the period of time where he was at the hospital. It was such a... Anyway, go watch the video about that, because I don't want to go through it. But yeah, so there's a few days in between, and then there's the day he actually passed away. And then the following week is when Black Friday shit happens, and, after being upset and crying for between the 19th and the 23rd at various points, recovering from that involves spending money, apparently, which... Yeah, good thing I don't spend much money on anything and I live with my parents so I can afford it, but, yeah. So then I pretty much spend that whole week, coping with that, spending the money. And then, yeah, Black Friday moves around each year, right? So maybe it's not a full 2 weeks that I need, just as long as the sales last. Although, if you factor in the whole Cyber Monday thing, did I spend anything then? I don't think so, but yeah, anyway, so the whole grieving process, 2 weeks, and I had only factored in the 1 week really leading up to Fade and didn't factor in the aftermath, because that's kind of how I coped when it actually happened, is like the very next day, I think, was Black Friday, and so, went out and spent money, and then kept spending money for a bit because I was like, well, I saved all this money for his medical bills, what do I do now? And I actually still have that stash because I spend so little money most of the time, so yeah, I can afford to occasionally lose my mind. And, like, my parents are finance types, so all the accounting stuff has been drilled into my brain, so I constantly feel like I don't have money, even in the periods of time when I do, and I always feel like I have to save money, but then when I lose my mind, suddenly I spend it all! Anyway, so that was a thing that I may need to consider for next year. I don't know how much time, like, how is this always going to hurt that much when it comes around? I think the human tendency to commemorate things is kind of fascinating, and is it really illogical? But then again, emotions aren't logical, so that may be a thing that I have to expect for myself. It's hard because I think about stuff from that logical perspective, so then when the emotional stuff hits, I'm not expecting it, and I'm like that surprised Pikachu, like, oh! That's a feeling that I have, and apparently that's how I cope with it. So, trying to make a mental note of that. So, next year, when it comes up to that hope period, maybe expect me to disappear from the internet for a little bit. Or just follow me on Instagram if I'm still doing that. Anyway, so yeah, it took me kind of 2 weeks to deal with that, I guess. And then this week, I don't remember what I did on Monday. Tuesday, I'm pretty sure I went out with Mum. Wednesday, oh, I had a video call with the Fourth Wall merch guy. Because if you remember, I launched my merch as well. I think on that same live stream. And mostly the merch is fine, but there are a few things that are not so fine, and I showed the difference between Aussie printed and American printed stuff, and like it's pretty obvious. The guy even took a screenshot of one of them. Yes, I know I'm doing strange things with my arms. Deal with it. Which, you know, if people are just listening to this in the background, they're not gonna know. And then they'll look and be disappointed. Yeah, so hopefully, I don't know, he's gonna look into it. Will we get answers? Will we get better products in Australia? I don't know. But I think if you're in America, or close to America, you're safe to order whatever, because they seem to print things much better than the Aussie guys printed. And then that same day, I had psychology, and with psychology, like, it's a 2 o'clock appointment, and that means finishing up at 3 o'clock, which is when all the kids get out of school. And the previous fortnight, a bunch of buses had been cancelled, so I had to wait longer for a bus, which means there's even more time for the kids to get on the bus and crowd it, and it was just horrible. So, you know, this session, I asked my psychologist, like, can we move my sessions earlier? Especially now that my dog has made me a morning person, sort of. I mean, I'm awake. That doesn't mean I like morning, but I'm awake, so I can make it to an earlier session. So, yeah, we're going to get rid of the 2 p.m. sessions. But because that was a 2 p.m. one, rather than get on the bus and deal with all the kids, because I can't. I know some people think I look young. I don't know why. Is it because, like, I'm skinny, or is it because of, like, I don't know, my face is fine because I haven't gone and burned it out in the sun, which sun damage seems to be the biggest thing that messes people up. Although, if you're like my mum, and you put the wrong sort of cream on and an expired mask on, that's not really gonna do great for you. And I had to make my mum promise me that she wouldn't put anything on her face without talking to me first, because I had to get her stuff to, you know, make it not feel so bad. Yeah, and then convinced her to go get a facial and get advice from the professionals. It wasn't too bad. It's just like she came to me like, why does my face feel like this? I'm like, what did you do? Oh my gosh, it's like how she killed the lawn. I haven't been able to show you how she killed the lawn, and also destroyed one of the walls and then had to repaint it. If you want to know where I get the chaos from, I'm pretty sure it's from my mum. She's just really impatient, and unlike me, doesn't have like the patience to read instructions and find out how to do things, and actually have the patience to wait for results. She wants results now. Anyway, why was I talking about that? Kids. Oh, looking young. Yeah. No, like, kids are so noisy, and I don't know, I guess I didn't connect with anyone at school. So maybe I just don't have nostalgia for that shit, or I don't know, I just can't do the kids on the bus. And that many kids that day. So rather than go straight home, I went into the city. Because I had to pick up, see, this is like, so what's happening on my channel, I'm posting this video just to say that I'm still alive. But also, then there's the shorts that I'm appropriating from my Instagram stories. And then I've got a ton of unboxings. Because Black Friday and... Is it all Black Friday? Pretty much, I think. Anyway, I had to pick up a click and collect. So yeah, I went into the city to do that. Came back via Mecca because I wanted to smell some new stuff. But it was kind of gross. And like $300 for a bottle of really gross perfume. Tell them they're dreaming. Yeah, and then sort of meandered through the city. May have bought a few more things. And then caught the ferry home. And the ferry is the best way. Because, like, it's slow. and it's expensive, except that I get a concession, but for the average person it is expensive and it's slow. But even in peak hour, there are always seats on the ferry, and there's always a bus waiting at the other end to take you the rest of the way wherever, and that bus starts off empty, so you can always get a seat, unlike buses direct from the city. So yeah, the ferry, it's relaxing, and then you can actually see stuff that's not boring crap. And if you're someone like my dad who enjoys having a view, you can enjoy that too. Which, I'm still a bit dead inside, but I guess, I can appreciate the change in scenery. Anyway, so the ferry, good way to come home. It's slow, it's expensive, but it's much more relaxing. Yeah, so that was my Wednesday. And then Thursday, what did I even do on Thursday? And yesterday, what did I do yesterday? I don't even remember, actually. I think I've just done the same thing I do every day. Try to take over the world! Not that. I don't know, the weather in Sydney has been really gross and humid. I'm struggling to focus. I think today's the third day in a row that I've managed to get into the studio to do some art. Trying to finish that piece and then I'll move on. I did tell myself I'd move on anyway, but I feel like I need to finish it and also just get my brain back in the groove. But yeah, no, I think mostly I've just been looking after Triton. I've had a lot of poor sleep because of some interpersonal issues that I'm unable to escape, but rather than confronting people directly, I've decided writing is the way to go because I am not good at in-person conflict. I'm much better at organizing my thoughts if I'm just sit down, write it, no one can interrupt me. They can just not read it, but it's there. And I can just refuse to interact until people actually do read it. Anyway, that took a long time, ruined my sleep. And then it's been a little bit of a thing to try and get my sleep back. And then because of the horrible, humid, hot weather in Sydney, I keep having to wake up really, really early and walk Triton before I even have breakfast so that we're home before it gets too hot for him. And then last night, early this morning, there was a thunderstorm and it sort of came in two waves, and the second wave I could hear Triton was not happy, so I got up at 5:30. I was still in my pajamas though. But yeah, then at 6, I brought him back to my room to get changed, and then we went for a walk at 6:30. Usually I wouldn't even get up until 7, but we went for a walk at 6:30, and it's a good thing we did because it was just the thing was saying it's 99% humidity. This is tropical weather. Sydney is not meant to be tropical. It feels like Queensland. Fuck off. Yeah, and I think the humidity's really messed up my concentration. And, you can probably tell from this rambling video that's just me trying to remember what I even did with my time. I don't know, who cares what I did day to day? I can't keep track of it. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens, and then what am I gonna do tomorrow? But yeah, I think a lot of my time I've spent, looking after my dog, because my life kind of revolves around that, and because I didn't sleep, then I've had to nap, and when I nap, I have less time to actually do anything, but also the humidity is messed up my focus, and I've had lightheadedness as it's gotten worse. And yeah, it turns out that humidity can make low blood pressure worse. I have low blood pressure generally. Now, my doctor always says it's in the safe range, but clearly it affects me sometimes. So yeah, technically it's safe. I'm not gonna get certain diseases that are associated with high blood pressure, but it's still making it hard for me to function. Shouldn't the focus be on my function and not just the numbers that come up on the little machine? Yeah, it's healthy, technically, but if I'm feeling lightheaded and struggling to concentrate, wouldn't you think that's an issue to look at? Come on. I'm really, my doctor frustrates me sometimes. it's easy to get a mental health referral every year when I need it. But in terms of like physical health, sometimes I feel like she's using the fact that I have mental illness to dismiss some of my concerns as like an anxiety thing when I do not have an anxiety disorder. But she keeps forgetting that I'm on the pill for period pain and not for contraception. And so one time she tried to give me the talk. And I'm like, Anyway, so she's been my doctor for like, I don't even remember how long, like ages. And still forgets basic stuff that I've told her very many times. Anyway, so low blood pressure, and yeah, lightheadedness. And I thought it was just because I wasn't sleeping very well, but the lightheadedness. No, but the low blood pressure, it can be made worse by humidity because you sweat more, and so you've got less blood. No, like less fluids in your system, and also when you're sweating, the salts come out, and so you don't have enough. Like you're sweating out the salts, so you need to have more salt, and I suppose electrolytes, because it's what plants crave, and I am a plant now. Yeah. And I didn't have any today, though, only yesterday. I think it did help, though, but maybe I should have a bit more. And, yeah, I hate this weather. It's terrible. And we keep having to run the aircon on dehumidify mode. And, I mean, today it was cloudy, so I didn't put the blinds down in the back room, which usually I would do to keep the sun out. And also to create an air gap to help with insulation, but I didn't do it today because outside, like the temperature itself wasn't that high for most of the day. It was at like 24. We've got this little monitor thing that tells us what the outside temperature is and the inside temperature. So the inside was about 22, outside was 24. So it didn't really feel like I needed the insulation gap. But because the blinds were open and it was super humid outside, there was a ridiculous amount of condensation on the glass. Like, you couldn't even see outside because of it at some points in the day. And it's just like, what even is this? It's not quite as spectacular as that dust storm. I made that video about the Sydney dust storm. It's not quite as spectacular as everything being red, but it was like, holy shit, suddenly we live in tropical Queensland. Anyway, so that's what's been going on in my life for the past 2 weeks. And probably gonna get onto some unboxings, whether you want them or not. It's not all makeup and stuff, but mostly. But I'm also waiting for other things to arrive. And there are other things that I wanted to post on YouTube that I'm struggling to remember. As usual, if there's something you really want me to make a video about, yeah, you'll have to remind me, and perhaps keep reminding me, because I do forget stuff. I forget what I wanted to do. I forget what I wanted to say. What even is life, though? Like, it doesn't matter if I forget stuff, really, as long as I remember, you know, I put in my diary the more urgent stuff, but, you know, life just keeps going. And going and going. I'm like, where is it going? Is that... I think I've really lost my mind for this video. But like, just like, everything's meaningless. It just keeps going. So does it matter what I did yesterday? Only in the sense of trying to remember what I need to do today, maybe. But my life isn't like that. I'm just floating in existence, so... yeah, was there something that I wanted to address in particular in this video? I don't know. Yeah. I think that's it for now. It's just sort of what's been going on with life. Apparently a bunch of stuff that's not worth remembering. Alright, well, my friend gave me this. It's my colours, and it's absolute chaos. For some reason, its name is Rebecca. I have never had a squishmallow before. Its name is Rebecca, or have I? And I just don't remember. Maybe. Rebecca, really, and it's got like even the devil tail. I just, like, really, that's the name they thought of. They made this thing and thought, we're gonna call it Rebecca. And then, it says, what is it? I can't even fucking read it. Squish date 1/10/2024. Now, is this American or I don't even know? Because do they mean the 1st of October 2024 or do they mean the 10th of January 2024? See, this is what America has done, is now we don't know what that's supposed to mean. Anyway, Rebecca has a dream to be the first supermodel in space! You would be kidding me! That's why this thing is so perfect, because, like, it's so ridiculous. Oh my god. To be the first supermodel in space. If her doctorate in astrophysics wasn't enough, astronaut eggshell is totally her color. They talked about eggshell. There's nothing about eggshell that would go with that. What are you talking about? Oh, so this is an accidental squishmallow review. This supernova loving superstar can't wait to pilot a rocket and serve face across the galaxy. Whatever they were taking when they wrote this, I kind of want it. But given my history with medications and even dark chocolate, I probably shouldn't because my head would explode. And of course, me squealing about this has drawn the attention of the little fluff ball. He would like to devour it. Yes, you would, wouldn't you? Yeah, this is the weirdest sort of, it's just so appropriate. Anyway, so you got a rambling video about what I've been up to the past 2 weeks, not including things that I've forgotten about, because I think a lot of my time was spent posting stuff on like Instagram and Facebook. And that would have taken some time because I'm a little bit obsessive and overdo stuff. So I think that's where, like, I made some actual posts about trans graduating adolescence. Oh my goodness, it's way too early to get up, sweetie. I know. And also I think about something else. What did I even post? See, I can't keep up with my own life. And like, it took me that long to figure out that I'm actually as mentally ill as I am. Oh, the artwork that I sold. Check that out, because that's actually one of my favorites from when I was at the studio, underground art space. Yeah, like, Patreon has seen that. But yeah, that was really cool to sell an artwork again. Just sort of like, completely took me by surprise, because I was starting to think, maybe I should take down my shop on my website because, then I maybe reorganize it into more of a gallery and just not worry about shipping, because shipping stresses me out. But yeah, no, and then just suddenly out of the blue after I released Fade, yeah, now it's actually found a home, and I need to start writing down. I did have an art CV going when I was at art school, but I don't know that I've updated it for ages, and I really should. Especially I'm a bit more involved sort of in the art world, or like sort of getting there a little bit. I just hate having to organize, to exhibit and stuff. But I'm like making more art and I'm meeting art people, so who knows. Yeah, do you want this? Yeah, oh boy. Why was I talking about that? I don't even know. Oh, Instagram? Yeah, no, I think that, because that was unexpected. That's what I would have been doing at least one night. And, because I'm spending so much time with the dog, I do run out of time for other things. So when I do even something small like posting on Instagram, yeah, that sort of, I end up not having time for much else. And yeah, posting about Triton's graduation, and like, you know, I try and tag all the people involved in things, because like I don't have that much of a profile, but I know for small business in particular, it's really important to. Do I actually care though? I don't know. I just feel like I should just help in some way. I don't know. I don't contribute much to the world, but there are things like that I apparently contribute. Anyway, what have you got out of this video? If you're still here, well done. Appropriate t-shirt. Should I try and do more unboxing stuff now and like pre-record a bunch of stuff to post later? There's also other stuff that I meant to post later that I've probably forgotten about. Dear oh dear. Anyway, I don't have any secret thing to tell you. No, bye.